Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Shakura's Plateau, where we will be seeing Game 2 between TdgWumBeL and TdgWumBeL in the top right. Let me just start that over then. Welcome to Shakura's Plateau, where we will be seeing Game 2 of the quarterfinals between TdgWumBeL, the blue Protoss in the bottom left, and maTTzouR, the teal Terran in the top right. Cross positions on Shakura's Plateau. And we could be gearing up to see a nice long macro game on this very large map. But it is in fact the... Is this MLG? I think this is GSL Shakura's Plateau. With a very, very strange... It's different from the latter in that this... yeah, it's the wrong map, so we will be remaking. I can't actually speak. Yeah, well... This does in fact not look like MLG Shakura's to me. But I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure this is GSL Shakura's. Not sure if they want to remake the game or if, I mean, it looks like they're just going to be playing it as it is. Okay. Okay, no remake. It's just going to go on. Welcome to GSL Shakura's then. Okay, barracks going up for maTTzouR. GLHF being thrown down by both of the players. maTTzouR was not happy to be losing to a 5-gate, 2-base push from TdgWumBeL in the first game, but WumBeL just absolutely dominated that game from start to finish. WumBeL is, of course, our Master League representative, and maTTzouR is the pretty Platinum up from the Platinum who is qualified for the quarterfinals. Impressive showing by him, but it'll be interesting to see whether or not he's able to take a game off TdgWumBeL, the Master Leaguer, who is throwing down a cybernetics core right about now. And, for lack of anything else to say, the smiley face. Anyway, moving right along, this probe is just going to be patrolling over by this natural, being able to see if any expansion does go up. There's going to be a tech lab on this barracks. Looks to be the same opening from maTTzouR as in the last game. And it'll be interesting to see if TdgWumBeL goes for the fast expansion. The Marine just sort of patrolling around looking for that pesky probe that he knows is somewhere, but he doesn't know quite where. A Marauder is queued, but he's being supply blocked. Not quite able to spit that Marauder out in time. And we are going to be seeing a Zealot chasing down this SCV, desperately trying to get him out of the base before he knows too much. But it looks like TdgWumBeL is going to be chronoing out that warp gate technology instead of just spending more time going for the expansion. Chronoing out the warp gate technology obviously means that he'll want that warp gate sooner, which implies that he's not going to be waiting for a 2-base push. So we'll be seeing what will happen there. This probe going to get out alive with 10 health left, and another Marauder is going to be in production, and it looks like maTTzouR is about to put up an expansion. There's the command center just going down right there. And actually, apparently, I'm totally wrong. TdgWumBeL is going to be throwing up an expansion as well. Both of the players looking to take early expansions once again. Of course, Shakura's is a relatively large map, so it is relatively safe to take those expansions. This little scouting party, probe, probe, Zealot, and Stalker. Ooh, he targets down the probe. Doesn't even get the probe, so these will be able to sort of continue on unperturbed. 2 Marauders looking ready to engage. There is a bunker going up here, and it looks to me like TdgWumBeL is actually going for the same build as he did in the last game. He's throwing up gateways number 2 and 3, and we could be seeing gateways 4 and 5 soon after that Nexus finishes. Looking in at the unit counting station, the workers are even, meaning that TdgWumBeL is getting less money because he does not have the power of mules, which maTTzouR, of course, does. This bunker is going to be finishing, going to be throwing down 2 more barracks, trying to even out the unit production buildings. And this orbital command command center, is about to finish. Both of these expansions should be finishing around the exact same time. This one will be morphing into an orbital before it flies off. Obviously, that is what most people will do, as it is then able to accumulate energy while it is flying. This expansion is up, and he's going for a 3-gate robo this time instead, not opting for the same successful build, not opting for that famous idea of never change a winning team. He will change this idea. He's going for this Robo instead. Maybe we could be seeing some Immortal play. He knows that maTTzouR is going with the Marauders. He did see those 2 Marauders with his original scouting party push, and now he is up to 4 Marauders. And Immortals against Marauders, not exactly the nicest matchup for those Terran units. Immortals, of course, do massive damage to Armored, and actually Marauders do as well. So very interesting to see how that would go. But yes, we're seeing more gas being put up by maTTzouR. Gas number 3 Stimpak and level 1 weapons are on the way for our Terran player. He's going to start saturating the space. Base is nicely saturated, but he's saving up a fair bit of energy, which makes me wonder whether he's planning for like some specific. No, he is going to drop the. Is that a scan or a mule? That is a scan. He is going to scan. And he will see the Robo-Bait going up, and he will know that there are Colossus on the way, and Colossus are not very friendly to Marines and Marauders. Bioball versus Colossus, never a nice position for the Terran to be in. Combat Shield also going to be coming up, and a 4th gas can be grabbed by our Protoss player here, who is opting for that gas-heavy build. Lots of sentries, Colossus. He does have an OBS on the field as well, which will be moving its way across the map. Of course, these 2 Stalkers also minding these Alnaga towers, giving him very nice map vision. We'll see that Marine coming from a mile away. We're still seeing a lot of... we're seeing a factory being put up just now by maTTzouR in response to that Colossus den. And, of course, Combat Shield being close to being finished, but... I'm wondering whether he'll go for... he already has 3 barracks up. That's a lot of bio units, so it'll be interesting to see whether he decides to go for the MMM. Which is what we saw one of our finalists do in the daily yesterday to little to no success. 4th barracks is going up, so he will continue with the biological units, and that is going to be a reactor. He is going to be going for the MMM, it looks like. He's putting up the starport right next to there, ready to do the little switcheroo, lift off that factory, and throw down that starport on that reactor, producing medevacs 2 at a time. Definitely a much more efficient way to do it. Going to be grabbing that 4th gas as well. And looks like there's going to be a move out here from TdgWumBeL, who's going to be moving out with this 1 Colossus and lots of sentries and zealots. And no upgrades on the way for him yet. We don't see any forges up. Gateways numbers 4 and 5 are just morphing into warp gates just now. There is, of course, going to be a probe. He's going to be expanding to this expansion just down here, and the probe will be coming with them to put a forward pylon down. Little Marine going to die here to that Stalker. And it'll be interesting to see what sort of role the upgrades play, because he may have 1-1 upgrades by the time this attack hits. Whereas TdgWumBeL doesn't even have a forge yet. He's putting up a Twilight Council, but no forge. And upgrades are incredibly important in StarCraft 2, of course. But of course, if you just overwhelm your opponent with massive numbers, he's not going to be going for MMM. I was wrong again. He will be going for Vikings. What is wrong with my game sense today? Vikings will, of course, be able to demolish those Colossi relatively quickly. And yeah, he doesn't have enough Stalkers to really deal with Vikings before they can get those Colossi down. Naturally, Vikings, of course, the same sort of story as Corruptors. If you get too many, you will lose. If you don't get enough, you will lose. So it comes down to a very, very interesting sort of... hope you know the number of Colossi that your opponent does have. Throwing up a 3rd command center here as well. We'll be moving this starport onto that reactor as well. So he'll be having double reactor starport production capability. What will he be producing out of here? He will be going with 1 medevac, 1 Viking out of this reactor. And more warpins here. We're seeing a double forge put down by TdgWumBeL now. Looks like he read my mind, and he will be going for those upgrades. Also getting Zealot Charge. Won't be done by the time this hits, though. Charge is takes a very long time as an upgrade. He's warped in more Stalkers, though, to deal with those air units, and the nice force fields allowing him to take down several free units there, losing only 1 Zealot in return and a bunch of energy. But with this many sentries, energy isn't the biggest of your worries at this point. We're seeing TdgWumBeL, of course, TdgWumBeL warping in more and more units. I was about to comment on his high money, but high money is no more. And level 1 ground armor and weapons are on the way for him. Of course, level 2 weapons may be about to finish for maTTzouR. but it's going to be 1-1 against 0-0 right now. One of the Colossi is sniped. The second Colossus is getting very, very low on health. Two more Vikings come in, snipe the Colossus. The ground battle is going heavily in favor of TdgWumBeL, but the last Colossus is about to fall. The last Colossus goes down. He will be pulling the SCVs, force shielding the ramp. The SCVs will have no escape route. More Vikings pumping out, but there's just not enough on the ground to deal with this army. Vikings are going to land, but landed Vikings are not very good against gateway units, and they are obliterated practically immediately. There is absolutely nothing left on the ground except for these two Marauders that are getting desperately low on health, and the force field on the ramp not allowing him to do much of anything. We'll keep that ramp force fielded, preventing any sort of reinforcements until this command center is down. Orbital command is now on fire. It will lose health of its own accord until it finally dies. Marines dying, more and more warpins. This army is just looking far too large for maTTzouR to deal with, and we could be seeing a GG any moment. Marines pouring out 4 at a time, but 4 Marines do nothing against this many units, despite the upgrade advantage. GG from maTTzouR, and TdgWumBeL will be in the semifinals. Thank you for tuning in. I am Penguin, and I will be back momentarily.